Listen carefully because what you're about to hear will shake everything you thought you know about Nigeria's history. Some of you might have seen this video before. You know, for decades, Nigerians were told one simple story about the 1966 Nigerian coup, that it was an Igbo coup. A clean narrative, a settled truth, a story repeated in school, though history was removed from our school. Or you see such a thing in media, in public space, and even inside the military circles. But what if that story was built on something far weaker? Not evidence, not fact, but assumption. Because right in front of a national panel, under questioning, a senior military officer was forced to admit something shocking. Some of you already know this, but for the sake of records, he listed names, he made accusations, he signed documents, yet he never knew the men who he was talking about. He never verified their identities. He never even read their own accounts. And when pressed, when cornered with facts, he said it plainly. We presumed everybody is always Igbo. And there was silence after a shout. Now think about that. A whole narrative, a whole accusation, possibly shaping national anger and division, built on presumptions. Tonight we are not going to shout. We are not insulting anyone. We are doing something more dangerous. We are examining the truth, because if one name was wrongly labeled, then what does that say about the entire story? Stay with us.
The 5 majors involved in organizing and execution of the coup were all Igbos.
Yes.
Majors Anufora, Chukwuka, Okafo, Ademoyega, and Ifeajuna.
Ademoyega, is he Igbo?
Ademoyega is from the description.
Is he Igbo?
Yes, he is.
He is Igbo.
Please.
Let me clarify this.
It's okay. Please silence. Please silence.
Colonel.
When this one was depicted.
Colonel.
Yes, my lord.
Don't mind who put who. You
Yes.
signed it.
Yes.
You are a colonel.
Yes, my lord.
You have read 5 names of military officers.
Yes, my lord.
Did you know them? At all?
Personally, you mean?
As a human being, did you know them in the army?
No.
You didn't know them?
No.
You've never met them?
No.
Have you ever heard about them?
Yes.
No, you heard about those 5.
Yes.
And in paragraph 62A of the document you signed as a retired colonel,
Yes, my lord.
you put 5 names.
Yes.
And Ademoyega is an Igbo. Is that correct?
No.
Thank you. Show him Exhibit 9. Have you see Exhibit 9?
Yes, sir.
It was written by Ademoyega.
Adewale Ademoyega.
Was it the same person you put in your exhibit? Do you know?
I believe so, my lord.
You think so?
Yes.
Have you read that book?
No, I did not read this one.
You've never read it. The reason why you put him as Igbo
Yes, my lord.
is to enable you attribute the entire fault
Yes.
to Igbo people. Is that correct?
No, my lord. It was
Why did you put him as Igbo?
the name Ademoyega as compiled in this thing was presumed Igbo.
Was presumed Igbo. Thank you. Colonel,
Yes, my lord.
could you tell the panel
Yes, my lord.
why Ademoyega,
Yes, sir.
a Yoruba man, should be presumed Igbo?
Well, my lord, I believe when this paper was authored. The list of the names that came in with the belief that they were all Igbos.
The what?
The list that were enumerated on the belief
That they were Igbos.
that they were Igbos. Good.
Because Igbos were people, those who were writing it operated the coup.
Can you?
Now, here is what really happened in that interrogation. The Igbo lawyer did something very strategic. He did not argue emotionally. He used the colonel's own words and document to expose contradictions. One, the colonel listed 5 Igbo majors. He mentioned Anuforo Igbo, Chukwuka Igbo Okafo, Emmanuel Ifajuna, and he mentioned Adewale Ademoyega. And he also claimed he is also Igbo. They were all Igbo. But the problem with that is that that statement is factually wrong. And here is the trap. Do you even know them? He was asked. As you can see in that video, the lawyer asked, have you ever met them? He said, no. Did you serve with them? No. Did you read their accounts like books? No. Meaning, the colonel was making strong historical claims like most Nigeria. This is common in Nigeria even till today. He's making claims based on zero personal knowledge. Those who are saying it is Igbo coup, they want to make sure they pin Igbo down on it. Now let's go to the real key exposure. The lawyer zeroed in on Ademoyega. The full name is Adewale Ademoyega. His ethnicity is Yoruba, not Igbo. He wrote a book, Why We Struck, yet the colonel labeled him Igbo. And could you justify why? Admitted it was based on assumption. And that is how all of Nigerians are assuming. And that is the turning point. The bigger issues this exposes is presumption was used as history. And it's affecting us up to today. The colonel said it was presumed they were all Igbo. That is extremely dangerous. That means ethnic identity was gazed, then turned into official narrative spread everywhere. They withdraw history from school, and can you imagine? They use it to blame an entire ethnic group. This interrogation quietly challenges the long-standing claim that the 1966 coup was purely an Igbo coup. Because not all participants were Igbo. Key individuals were misidentified. Even official signatories didn't verify facts. Heard what IBB said. These were just among the 5 majors that took part. There were other people too. In fact, we heard that most officers working with these guys are not Igbos. And you had their intention. But many people still call it an Igbo coup. And look at what happened because of that. Pogrom. And that is not the first time. Even before the coup, you have heard about the 1945 pogrom in Jos, killing of Igbo. And the most disturbing part is this. A colonel testifying before a national panel admitted that he signed documents without verifying identities based on what they believed. That shows how state narratives can be, built. Something that is spread, something that everyone believes is now built on weak or biased assumptions. The lawyer wasn't just correcting a name. He was proving if you can wrongly label one person, you can wrongly label the entire event. And once that happens, history becomes distorted. Blame becomes targeted. Conflict becomes justified. And here are deep implications. This exchange indirectly questions why the coup was framed the way it was, and how that framing contributed to the tensions that later escalated into the Nigerian Civil War. The effect is still showing up today. And now note, if the foundation who did what is shaky, then the reaction, revenge, the counter coups, violence becomes even more tragic. And that is what happened. A colonel accused, 5 people, Igbo officers, he called them, but he never knew them. He never met them. He never read their accounts. One of them, Ademoyega, is not even Igbo. Now, when pressed, he admitted, we assumed they were all Igbo. It is Igbo coup. And they acted on that. Note, the actions then was based on that they were all Igbos. And that means a whole national narrative may have been built on assumption, not fact. Can you imagine if history was written based on assumption? Then what else were Nigerians meant to believe that was never verified? Some people are still arguing, saying it's an Igbo coup up to today.